What up, YouTube? This is Daniel Rucker with True Table. Welcome to the table. So, without wasting any time, I'm gonna go ahead and get in the kitchen because you notice what I do on this channel. I jump in here, I get cooking, and today is no different. Gentlemen, I wanted to share something with you because I have these conversations where there's always these narratives that is delivered to us men on what we're supposed to be doing, how our life is supposed to look by the time we hit 30, what it's supposed to be as far as the setup. And what I mean by the setup is the level of education, the type of job, the type of woman you have, X amount of kids you produce by certain pillars and plateaus. Why is this problematic for the average man? I'll tell you why, gentlemen. Because there's one thing that they do not tell you about being a man that is very different and vastly different than being a woman. You guys curious? I'm glad you're curious because I'm going to divulge that information to you today. The difference is that most men, if not all men, have what I call two lives. What does that mean? That means that for most men, you have the opportunity, gentlemen, to spend majority of your 20s and sometimes even half, if not most of your 30s, develop into the absolute best version of who you're going to be in this life as possible. You don't believe me? Let's do a little math. Let's say the average man lives till he's about 75 years old. Let's say 70, 75 years old. And let's say it takes the average man 35 years to build himself to a level of quality. What I mean by quality, speech patterns, education, awareness, solid emotions, money, career, friends, habits, so on, so forth, right? At 35 years old, gentlemen, let's say you meet that. You meet him. You interact with who you're going to be. You are now in perfect alignment with the man you're supposed to be. Now let's go back to the math. You have a remainder of 35 to 40 years of this life. And at this level, gentlemen, at this level, it's all up from here. There is no decline. There is no wavering up and down and all of the peaks and the valleys that you experience from the teenage age level to your early 20s. See, what they don't tell you is that you as a man become extremely valuable if you are focused and doing the work to be your best self as you get older. And a lot of times what happens is that I see a lot of cultures, I see a lot of religious practices, and I see a lot of what I would consider small-minded people try to guilt you into rushing out into the dating market, grabbing the best option you can grab at that state of your life, and settling down. Now, why is this problematic? I'm going to tell you why. Glad you want to know. As I've journeyed through my life and understanding what it is to be a man, I understand that there are going to be changes in your appetite. There's going to be changes in your perspective. There's going to be changes in your standard. There's going to be changes in what you're able to demand, request, and yield in this life. What do I mean by that? When I mean appetite, I mean not food. I mean life in its richness of life. That could be anything from hobbies. That could be anything from the type of women you want to date. That could be anything from the type of clothes you like to wear. You know, maybe converting from only wearing Vans and Jordans to, you know, hard bottoms and, you know, Chelsea boots. As a man, there is a transition. There is an elevation, right? And as a man, you're able to do this and do this seamlessly. Not like women, gentlemen. See, what women have to do, women have to get all of their ducks in a row from 18 to about 28, 30. 30 is where it starts to become dangerous for your most women. And that's not your plight. That is not your ceiling. See, what they try to tell you is that you're in the same bracket as women. That you as a man is a scarcity. That if you just so happen to meet a wonderful girl at 22, 23, that this is the only wonderful girl you're going to meet at 22, 23, and that you need to go ahead and lock her down and make an honest woman out of her and go ahead and screw your life up and get married, and then 2 to 3 years later have a few kids, and then you're looking down the barrel of being 27, 28 years old, making $50,000 a year, give or take, if you're lucky. Now you have these kids, now you have this wife, and now you have a responsibility. And see, what I've always found interesting is that, most men I see and observe in real life, and we're talking your average men collectively, which again, there's nothing wrong with being an average man, honest average man, average working man, you making your money, do your thing. But what I've often observed being at places like Target, the mall, or whichever, and I see a man that I know can't be older than 30, 31, and he has his wife and his 2, 3 plus kids, I never see that man smiling. I never see that man thrilled. I never see the same level of passion and zealous-like behavior when he's around his family than when he's watching a football game, or when he's at a strip club, or playing darts or shooting pool with his boys. Why is that, gentlemen? Why is that? Well, there's a number of reasons why, I'm sure. If you was to talk to that man, I'm sure he would tell you that there's a lot of reasons. But what I think is that that man's soul has been destroyed. That I think that he went all in too early. I think that the reason why you don't see that man happy, you don't see that man thrilled, you don't see that man with the vibrancy that could be him, is that he bought into the pitch. Somebody convinced him that he was supposed to go all in early. So he did it. And he did it out of desperation. And he did it because he thought that that was the only option. And he thought that Becky Sue or, Kim or Rebecca or Ashley or whoever the heck she is at that state in his life, in maybe his little town and his little region of the world, was the absolute best option that he was able to yield. I'm here to tell you, gentlemen, that as a man having the ability to have 2 lives, what you're able to produce and the type of women you can yield, the type of attention you can get at being a scrub, first half of your life, to the second half of your life being a boss, being valuable, being someone of just value. Let's keep it there, just value. It's different. The Hondas turn into Mercedes. The vans turn into Chelsea boots. The studio apartments turn into condos or, houses. The rooming to go to Vegas with 8 of your boys in one little crappy hotel room that's off the strip that you can barely afford, but you can afford it because 8 of you guys are staying in the same room, turns into loft suites, cabanas. See, it's different. And see, what I want to be able to do is I want to be able to convey through not only my own experience, but observable experience, and what I believe to be the best route for men is you need to hold out. One of the things all men can definitely do, and I know that most men in this space are starting to understand this, and I hope that they're understanding it quick, fast, and in a hurry. The one thing you don't want to do as a man that is unmarried is get a woman pregnant. That's A+ number 1. That is one of the key components to preventing yourself to sign up for a lifetime of heartache and financial stress. You don't want that. Do your best to wrap it up or make sure that there's preventive measures in place to keep yourself protected while you are out here having sex. That's A+ number 1. 2, figure out where you're going to end up in your life in a lane that you're going to dominate, whether that's going to be education, whether it's going to be a trade, or it's going to be a combination of both, whether it's going to be an engineer or a tech, whatever the heck you're going to do. Do it fast, and try to maximize the ability. See, sometimes what I think happens too is that they try to sell us on, as a man, you're supposed to be passionate about what you do. F that. You need to be passionate about being able to live the life you envision. Sometimes being able to live the life you envision means that you're going to have to use vehicles to get there. What do I mean by vehicles? I mean that you may spend 15, 20 years doing a job or even a career that doesn't make you thrilled, But that career, that job could propel you into the second part of your life, the second life, to now be able to work once to twice a week, maybe 3 times a week, travel when you want, live where you want, wear what you want. There is always going to be a deposit in life. There's always going to be a sacrifice, gentlemen. See, the difference when you do it this way and you understand that as a man, you have a second life. You have the first half where you're building. That's the state that's most critical. You get your credit right. You figure out where you want to, again, what industry you want to dominate, where you want to dominate in the first half of your life. And once you get that right, the second part of your life becomes ease. See, don't get caught up in this whole, because I got caught up on it too. I won't even, be dishonest with you guys. I'll keep it a buck. Being raised the way I was raised in a predominantly faith-based household, Christian household, I was sold on the vision. I was given this plan and what's right and so on and so forth. That's fine. I'm not knocking it. Wouldn't change it for the world. But one thing I did do is I always put myself in a position to be in the real world. I always observed what was really happening in real life. And I started to discover through travel, through serving in the military, which allowed me to travel more, and being and observing men that had the life that I was told I was supposed to have. They had the wife, they had the kids at an early age. And when I looked at it, it didn't look dope. I didn't like it. I didn't like the look of it. There's nothing sexy to me about a man in his 20s rolling up in a dope car with a car seat in the back or 2 car seats. Nothing dope about it. Could you imagine your Subaru WRX or, your Caddy or whatever it is that you drive that you like, pimped out, tinted out, fly. But then you got to look in the back seat and you see a car seat and a rattle. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't do it for me personally. That's just me. And so what I realized was that why are they telling us as men that we need to rush this process? Why are they trying to get us to do what they should be telling women to do? Because that's a woman's practice. That's a woman's lifestyle. Because it's different for them, gentlemen. They don't have the ability to have 2 lives. I'm going to tell you why I believe they do it. I believe they do it because a part of it is the more men that don't realize how great they are, the more workers you have, the more sheep you have, the more unequipped, unadvanced, underdeveloped men you have. And you have more of an opportunity to keep those type of people under the programming. That's what I think, right? And why that's important is because, see, like I was saying, I bought into the fact that, well, I don't want to be 40 years old trying to shoot my shot at 21-year-olds or 22-year-olds or whatever. That seemed weird to me at a time. I've grown to understand it's a lot different being 35, 36, 38, whichever. I'm not 38 yet, but you get my drift. And putting myself in a position to travel like I want, eat like I want, wear what I want, and to be able to communicate and talk to the women that I want. And not only talk to, but secure. See, when you're a scrub, 21, 22, and they have nothing to offer the world, all you really essentially have to offer, gentlemen, is energy and penis. Because you're broke. You as a man you don't have enough time on this planet to have gained knowledge, to have gained experience, to have gained a perspective that essentially is marketable to your average woman. See, one thing that guys need to understand, and I'm gonna stop right here and finish it up and wrap it up here, is that once you acquire the woman, well, then you have to offer her something. And not just one thing, but several things. I did a broadcast on my channel that says, that you guys should check it out at your leisure, that talks about women think that we're like carnivals, we're like amusement parks. I really believe that. And that's okay. But as a man, if you develop correctly, you will have knowledge to offer her. You will have stories to offer her. You will have experience to offer her. And you'll have resources to offer her. And it becomes a different experience at that level. The one thing about getting older that I've learned is that the 10 steps that it takes a 21-year-old, 22-year-old to make, I can do it in 1 or 2 and get the same, if not better results. Why? Have more experience. You see the world, you've learned the world, you've experienced some things, and experience always will trump youth in the sense of production and trying to produce. So that is what I wanted to touch on today. I hope I added some value to you guys. I hope you enjoy what I had to talk about. Yeah, I just want to continue to see men win and be their best selves, best version of themselves. So this is Daniel Rucker with True Table. Go ahead and hit the like button. Go ahead and subscribe if you feel it necessary. I do appreciate it. To all my new subscribers, welcome to the True Table family. I will continue to bring this content as I have stated. And yes, thank you for hanging out with me today for about 20 minutes or so. I appreciate it. You guys be easy. Till next time. Thanks.